Tracking back a few months, the cattle markets looked favorable going into late spring and early summer. Supplies were going to be tight, the economy was said to be turning upward, and demand would most likely come on strong with the onset of grilling season. Now here we are in April, and as Mike Briggs said when we talked on Wednesday, other factors have now changed the game.
Pretty disappointing set of circumstances that have evolved since then. We've had the, don't even want to use the term, but it's out there, the pink slime issue, which is just completely bogus and silly and unnecessary, and we haven't done a very good job handling it. That started the downturn. Then you started hitting stops, and you've seen massive fund liquidation. You know, everybody likes the funds when they're pushing the market your way, preferably up. But when those guys decide to get out, it's like rats coming out of a hole, and they have beaten this thing so far, and we've let funds get too big to where they take the market past fundamental and technical positions where they don't make any sense anymore. We got the market way too high, way too early in February, created a whole bunch of excitement because we did that in a typically bad demand time, and now we're just crushing it going into grilling season. A good time.
Now,
so it's kind of a perplexing situation.
Let's just talk once more about this lean, finely textured beef disaster here from a PR standpoint because of what it's done to the market. We thought it would hit it hard, but it really just slammed packers right in the teeth. And when they don't make money, then it really, drives it up on the consumer's end as well. And they're fearful of buying.
Well, what they've done is they've taken, that was primarily what they were doing with 50% lean trimmings. It's made the lean trimmings worth basically nothing, and a lot of them are going into rendering. So now you took what was food and you're throwing it into rendering because everybody's afraid of this process, which all it was lean recovery. That's all it was, lean meat recovery. That's what it is, that's all it is, and that it's meat, and somebody's turned it into something it's not. And it's really unfortunate. So you've taken a big part of the packer's income, which is getting lean out of trimmings, and turning that into rendering, and yes, it's hurt.
So if you're buying cattle right now, how hesitant would you be? How nervous would you be?
I would be bad right now because right now there's no margin in cattle. It's a huge negative margin to buy feeder cattle. Feeder cattle have not responded because there's still this exuberance or optimism out there that they think this thing's just gonna go. And I will say, at some point when we get through the calf feds, there's probably not a lot of fat cattle after this, but right now, there's always a lag in prices in the store. And we are seeing the highest prices of beef at the same time that the leanly fine textured beef story broke. And so we're seeing the highest prices, and we've seen a lot of resistance from the consumer. So I don't know how much it's going to matter if you don't have any cattle if they don't want to pay for it anyway.
So you're saying you're kind of seeing a perfect storm of events here catch up with everything.
Oh, I think absolutely, absolutely. You saw that LFTB deal come in there and come in at a really bad time, and started this snowball effect. And until demand catches, demand's got to catch somewhere here. I hope. This thing's going to be kind of sick, and you're seeing a lot of red ink in feed yards already, and it's going to get worse.
Let me ask you about corn prices. You got mixed results over the past few weeks, and the USDA said at first that supplies were tight, and now they've loosened it up a little bit. The number on acres might change by the time we get into fall, but on your end, where you're buying it, where do you feel?
I think you got to still buy hand to mouth, kind of like we've done all year. I think when the market breaks, you've got to take your opportunities. I took an opportunity prior to the crop report, got lucky and was right. Didn't buy that much. We've broke it back again. I bought a little more. I think you've got to buy on breaks because most of the seed corn's still in the bag. You've got weather issues you have to deal with. Corn is tight, and it's going to remain tight. Now, I think you could see some change in the ethanol market because the ethanol market is sick, so maybe we don't grind as much for ethanol. China actually bought corn from, I can't remember, the Ukraine, maybe?
I don't know either.
Maybe the Ukraine. So if you can keep China from buying our corn, all of a sudden there's going to be a little more corn left. And I still say, just like I said last time, I think this corn market's like a balloon full of air. So long as there's no problems, it's just going to leak air all the way down to where we get pretty close to $5 and maybe under by fall, which is a real advantage to the cattle feeder.
Mike was correct. China did make an unusual buy of wheat and corn from Ukraine earlier this week. On the lean, finely textured beef front, Iowa Governor Terry Branstad continues fighting opposition this week on the campus of Iowa State University, where he and other supporters rallied for the product.